Ladies and gentlemen, I want to address something real quick, and that's that I look very weathered and tired. And before you guys worry, I just want to explain why that's happening, and it's because gas is out of control. I went to the pump yesterday for premium, $2.51. $2.51. I know a lot of my viewers are American, so they're like, $2.51, take me there. Just wait. Hey Siri, if my gas costs $2.51 per liter, what does it cost per gallon?
Sorry, I didn't quite get that.
Anyways, yeah, it cost me like over $100 to fill up a 2-seat small roadster that's like shorter than my hips. Like it literally, the tallest point is at my hips and has 140 horsepower. That is ridiculous. Okay, I just had to get this off my chest because it actually hurts me, and I want you to know, if you're struggling from this too, you're not alone. Anyways, I got a special one for you boys and girls today. Today we're looking at subtle habits that slowly ruin your car. The habits that if you do over time and continue to persistently do quietly, they will wreck your car. Because, you know, sometimes it's obvious. Like I put my coilover on yesterday and it started clunking. I'm like, that's probably incorrect installation. Lo and behold, it was. But there's some things that you just will not notice until it's too late. So I want to go over those in today's video. But there's a little twist, okay? Instead of just telling you guys about it, I'm going to be ranking it in this format called a tier list. What? Little special one for you guys, for a very special fan base. One last thing, please subscribe. I'm providing you with this great premium content. You subscribe in return. It's like an I scratch your back, you scratch mine situation. Okay, so go check if you're subscribed. Let's get into the video. Starting off, before you guys speculate what this tier photo is, because now that I'm looking at it, it's not looking too good. This is an alignment, like a chiropractor adjustment. We're talking about getting in alignment. So basically, if your car is fully aligned, your tires will wear pretty evenly. And if your car is misaligned, can you guess what will happen? Your tires will wear unevenly. If you don't care about your tires, that's great. But if you cook one tire, you're going to have to replace the other side of the tire or all four. So I would just not recommend running your car too long without an alignment. Also, for the people that run like misaligned cars, do you not get super annoyed when the steering wheel is like slanted when you're going straight? Like, does that not just like, I don't know, trigger you in some way? It's really just a tire issue for the most part, so I'm not going to put it too high. But I mean, I would not run a misaligned car, so I'm going to put it in a horrible habit. Next up, we have bird poo. Now you're thinking, what the hell? Let me explain. Fun fact about bird poo is incredibly acidic. So when it drops in your car, it's going to get to work right away at absolutely nuking your paint. It's really bad for your clear coat, for your paint. It's terrible. So even if it's just spraying it off quickly with a hose, if you get bird poo on your car, I would highly recommend just taking care of that as soon as possible. If you let bird poo sit consistently, just because it's paint, I'm going to go bad habit and it's small spots, but very important to get this addressed. Next up, automatic car washes. Just like the bird poo, this is bad, but I think this is a little worse because it affects all of your cars. So basically, if you ever see car washes and there's touchless versus just regular, only go for the touchless, okay? Yes, is touchless as good as just hand washing your car? Not even close, but it's still better than the regular car washes, which basically take massive brushes and just scrub them all over your car. It's a very easy way to get swirl marks. And honestly, the automatic car washes don't even do that good of a job, and it's also like $15 when you could just spend that money and buy some soap and a rag and do it yourself, or go to one of those wand washes, like do it yourself, and those are cheaper and you'll get a better job done for like only a little bit more time. Just stay away from these automatic car washes. Is it bad to just always have your car dirty? Absolutely. That can also be bad for your paint, but at the same time, these automatic car washes are not the play. They don't hit the spots correctly. The brushes they use are not gentle on your paint. I'm gonna go stop now. Just please start wand washing or hand washing your car if you're using automatic car washes consistently. Speaking of ways to ruin your paint, hit and runs is one of the easiest ways that can happen. Ask me how I know. So, it's key that you get a good dash cam like the F7NA from Red Tiger, the sponsor of today's video. The first and most important thing that you should look for from a dash cam is high image quality, because as they say, no plate, no case. I don't know if that's actually a thing, but I say it. So yeah, the last thing you want is someone hitting your car or someone doing something dumb to you on the road and then just running and you can't actually see your plates. You just have like the outline of a car. Thankfully, that's not an issue because the F7NA runs in true 4K. With Sony IMX678 sensor front recording. And day or night, the quality will be amazing, so don't worry if it gets pitch black, your camera still works fantastic. I mean, just look, as you can see in the comparison, the left side shows a natural color reproduction with true 4K clarity, offering higher sharpness and richer detail, making license plates much clearer and easier to read. This is due to the camera's amazing specs, that being 4K 30 FPS camera on the front and 1080p 25 FPS in the rear. And the front camera also uses HDR, which improves dynamic range, which ensures balanced exposure and reduces over and under exposure and bad lighting. Why I love this camera so much over almost every other one I've tried is because of how intuitive it is to use. I am a big believer that everything should just be as simple and easy to use as possible, and the F7NA is no exception. the app is incredibly easy to use. The camera itself has so many settings, it's actually insane. And you have 5.8 gigahertz Wi-Fi 6, so you can just download clips really like instantly. If this sounds interesting, click the link in the description below. Get one for yourself now. Back to the video. Next up, here's one that is serious, and this is not clearing your drains. Now, if you're watching this and you don't even know that your car has drains, you really need to listen up. Or if you're watching, you haven't cleared your drains in a while, listen. Every car has drains, okay? Basically, when water pools up, it can't just sit in these like little crevices. So there are drains that will bring the water down to the ground. But what happens is if you park under a tree or there's debris in the air or whatever, it will also fall in these kind of drain rails in your car and then get stuck in these drains and clog them. And then what happens is when it rains, your drain is plugged up, the water just kind of sits in your drain and the drains run throughout your car. And then what happens is when you have water sitting in metal drains, it will slowly start to rust and it won't be obvious. It won't be obvious rust from the outside. It will rust from the inside out, which is awful. So now what a lot of you might have and you don't even know it is your car slowly corroding from the inside. Big misconception about clearing your drains is that it's some like big, technologically advanced thing. You need like a $300 device and like a red seal in your mechanic degree or some like that. You don't need any of that. All you need to do is take a literal clothes hanger and stretch it out like one of those metal wire ones and just like poke it in there. That's all you need. And then what will happen is you'll see debris fall out and probably some water with it. You can also use a paper cleaner if it's like smaller, for example, like rocker. Like on my car, there's like rocker drains and you can literally just poke a paper clip in there. Done. Another common area, if you have a sunroof and you don't clean the sunroof drains, that can start leaking. The only reason sunroofs get a bad rep is because of the maintenance of potential leaks, and that's because people don't maintain them by clearing them out every once in a while. So please clear your drains if you don't want your car to rot from the inside out slowly. Definitely rip your car, especially because of how silent this is. You don't notice it until you're like, hey, rust. Next up, we have never using your parking brake. Now, all my manual boys know we always use our parking brakes, and girls, but automatic, you need it too. Basically, if you're just relying on your transmission's park gear to keep you from rolling, that puts stress on the transmission. Okay, yes, you won't roll. You won't, okay? But that puts unnecessary stress on your transmission. And when you can avoid putting stress on something as serious as your transmission, I would definitely take that up. Plus, it's good for your parking brake to get some use. Like it's not wearing it out or anything. It's actually good. It's meant to be used. Like it's crazy to think that a function on your car is meant to be used, but you're not going to do anything bad by using your parking brake. Highly recommend always putting on your parking brake, even if it's on a flat ground with an automatic transmission. If you don't do this, definitely stop now. Next up, we have flooring your car before it's fully warmed up. Now, a big misconception in the car community is that you need to let your car sit before you start driving it. And that is not really true anymore for modern cars for the most part. What's more important is that you don't floor your car until it's up to full operating temperature. How do you know when your car is at full operating temperature? The best way, once your coolant gauge hits center, like it's stopped at its set position for the rest of the drive, wait a few minutes because coolant circulates faster than oil, and then you can start ripping it. And until then, just drive very carefully and keep your revs low. If you constantly floor your car when it's not warm, rip your car. Next up, we have grandma driving. Basically, what happens when you floor your car is it helps burn off excess carbon, right? When you really give it some revs. So what happens if you never floor your car and you drive like a grandma, just keeping your revs under 2K everywhere? Is you get what's called carbon buildup. And the buildup will get worse and worse because you're constantly just driving your car at low RPMs and never giving the engine a chance to kind of fully rev out and burn off that carbon buildup. Am I telling you to like everywhere you go in the neighborhood, in the drive-thru, just constantly bounce off your limiter? No. But do not be afraid. In fact, it is welcome that you floor your car every once in a while. Do it on the on-ramp. That's probably the best way to do it if you're not like an aggressive driver. And if you never floor your car, definitely stop now and start flooring your car a little bit. These tiers need some work. Next up, we have overfilling your gas tank. Now, essentially, I used to do this when I first got my license, and I wouldn't trust the clicks. I'd be like, oh, my car can take a little more gas. And then even after the gas pump clicks, like, you know what I'm saying? Like that, I would fill more gas in because I don't know, I'm dumb. 17-year-old me was a little bit stupid, but now that I'm wise, old, and 20, I have seen the light, okay, and I understand this is bad. Basically, connected to your gas tank is what's called your evap system. That's basically there to prevent harmful vapors from entering the atmosphere, okay? Basically, it's only meant to accept vapors, but what happens when you overfill your gas tank, since the evap system is connected to your gas tank, the extra gas may have nowhere to go, and some of it will go into your evap system, and then slowly damage what's called your charcoal canister. One off, do not stress, but over time, if you consistently do this as a habit, this can very well destroy your evap system, which is bad for your car and, most importantly, for the environment. So every time you overfill your gas tank, just think about your car crying for help and Greta Thunberg getting mad at you, okay? That's a double kill. I'm gonna put that in stop now. And also, I'm realizing touchless car washes, because it's just your paint, I'm gonna drop this to horrible habit. You know, retroactively dropping things is just what I do. On the flip side, we have running your car on low fuel for a while. Your car is not meant to be struggling for fuel. this can damage your fuel pump very easily, okay? So for that reason, I'm gonna put this in horrible habit. All I'm gonna say is I understand everyone has different financial situations, but it costs the same to top up a full tank and an empty tank with $20. It's $20 both times. I understand maybe you're living paycheck to paycheck. I have sympathy, and it's hard to always have a full tank, but just try your best to keep it full. It's gonna save you and your car a lot of stress. Next up, we have never changing your transmission fluid. Now, there seems to be this myth that just transmission fluid lasts forever. This is not true at all. You do need to intermittently change your transmission fluid. Now, do you need to change it as much as your oil? Yes, I would actually recommend for every oil change, 2 transmission fluid changes. I'm just kidding. I know a lot of you guys jump to the comments. Transmission fluid, it really depends on the car, so I'm ballparking here. 80 to 110 kilometers, 100,000 kilometers, give or take, somewhere around there. It lasts a while. Look it up for your own car. But if you never change it, definitely stop now and go change your transmission fluid if it's been a while. Finally, we have turning your steering wheel when your car is parked. Now, the common conception with this is that it's bad for your tires. The tire wear on this will genuinely be negligible. So I'm going to put it not the end of the world. The only argument you could legitimately make is that maybe it'll be hard on your power steering system. And yes, that may be true if you do this pretty often. But from the extensive research I've done and anecdotally having done this before, I don't think it's a big deal as long as you're not constantly like switching your wheel around and around, like just for fun. And plus, there are many practical reasons you may need to do this. For example, if you're on a uphill or downhill slope and you're parked next to a curve, it's recommended. It's the safe thing to do to turn your wheel, and you kind of have to do that when you're pretty much parked. So I don't think this is the end of the world. Probably not ideal. Minimize it if you can, just to be safe. Not the end of the world. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Yo, the stuff I put on the internet. All right. See you next one.